Syncing. You fucking sync what data? I was on like 5 minutes ago. Man, this game loads so fast. I remember playing Forza 4 like 5 years ago. And fucking game took like, you'd be lucky if it took them like fucking 3 minutes on Xbox One. Take like fucking 15 minutes just to start a race. It's terrible. So, welcome to Spam Tuner Weekly. It's not exactly weekly. I don't think I did one last week because there wasn't anything really that interesting to talk about. I also wanted to continue to keep an eye on a certain situation, which I'm on YouTube, which I'm checking out right now, just to be sure before I say anything and get ahead of myself. Hmm. So anyway, we'll just cover one topic. There's only one thing to say about one topic is at this point it looks like R.I.P. Goblin Slayer. It's been 4 weeks. So we're right on the threshold here of if there was a 30-day ban involved, it would have been over right around now. And I'm looking at hasn't streamed in 4 weeks, hasn't shared a tune. So I'm hoping you're gone. Don't ever fucking come back. I don't want to do a victory lap yet, but that's what it's looking like. Anyway, well, we're gonna move on to my second favorite punching bag, the only currently active punching bag. Shadow's Bane.
Pedro.
Because there's some really fucking great examples of this spam tactics and mentality and fucking trash this week. And real quick before I'm going to get into some details about these builds as well, but just to go over the tactics very quickly before we go any further. You remember one of the whole things that started this actual series of videos was back in January. We had this championship with the Hoonigan Bel Air called Fresh Prince and B700 Dirt, and I did a fucking great tune. I did like one of the best tunes for this car, ever. Not only one of the best, but like up here and one of the most popular as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The number 11 tune is real good. Real good dirt tune. I spent a lot of fucking time on it. I hadn't been sharing tunes. I had been banned for a month. I had just started coming back, and I was psyched about this one. I'm only doing like one tune a week. I love this tune. I spent a lot of time on it, and then this guy gets basically the same fucking engagement as me that week with this fucking piece of garbage tune. Piece of garbage. Look at this fucking comparison. I just don't understand. How do I even? I went through this. I have a whole fucking video about this. Go back and look. This is just a fucking shit terrible build from him. And I'll get into why. But that's not the important part. The important part is I went to go look for it a minute ago because I don't. I should actually follow this guy. That would be the easiest thing to do at this point, and I'll just fucking unfollow him some other time. What a fucking scam artist. Anyway, so I went to look for his tune, and I knew it was. So I looked for it yesterday, and it was gone. Yesterday, what was yesterday? Friday. It could have been Thursday night. Could have been Thursday. That tune that I just showed you was not public because I scrolled through here, and this didn't come up. But I never thought to check. I never thought to search by name, and I'll explain to you what the point of this is. I just didn't care that much, but I didn't think of this. And this is classic spam tuner shit because you already see where I'm going with this. This is back, but I'll tell you why it was gone because you shared this one as well. So whereas I left my 2-star tune up and didn't share a new one, that's what it looks like he did, right? It's like, okay, he already has this 2-star dirt tune up for a fucking identical championship called Fresh Prince from January, right? And it's like, okay, he shared another one for a fucking the same exact fucking event 3 months later, not even 3 months later, right? Let's look at the comparison here. This is slightly better. It's like he went back and tweaked it a little bit, but this is a fucking embarrassment. And again, I'm going to get into the build in a second because look at my build: 557 horsepower and 515 torque. This is fucking dirt races, and they're shitty dirt races too. You're not even looking at the fucking races that are in the championship. You're just using the dirt setting on Forza Tune. And not only is this build, this is especially bad. This is slightly better. I'm actually encouraged to see that he went back and actually fixed this up rather than just reshare it. But first of all, why both of these? And second of all, you unshared this one 2 days ago when you shared this one. I know you fucking did it because I am the one who fucking theoretically invented this. These are all conversations that I had with not just with you, but this is shit that I've talked to a bunch of tuners about. I learned a lot about how the recommendation system and all that shit works from you Grundy, talking to you Grundy a long time ago, before you were ever fucking on anyone's radar. And this is what this is even what I told the talk when I talked to Turn 10 2 weeks ago. I told them that I admitted to them a bunch of things that I had done that might not have been on the level, just in terms of experimenting with exploits. And they were like, "Well, thank you for that's the whole purpose. That was the whole purpose of the conversation. Basically, was me bringing a very bad exploit to their attention. But then I, in the call, I explained a bunch of other exploits. Because I invented all of this. I figured out this whole side of the game a long time ago, and I had a lot of conversations with you, Shadows Man, with this fucking guy about this stuff. But you turned every single thing that I did into an actual active exploit. So what this guy did was he unshared this tune when he shared this one. And it's not because he doesn't want me to go on the stream and see both of them shared at the same time. He did reshare it. He unshared it so that anyone who follows him is sure to see the new one, because this might get recommended instead because it's popular, right? So, because when the way the recommendations work is you're getting the top tunes by the people who are your friends and the ones you follow. That's the first like 5 in the series. Like this. This is the people your friends and shit, people you follow, and it shows you the top ranked tunes in order. So what he's betting on is that if somebody who actually follows him, and God, there are too many of you, too many fucking idiots following this guy. He's afraid that this tune is going to show up in the recommendations, but he wants this tune to get downloads. So he unshares this one on the day he shares this one. As soon as this one passes out of the window for being in the daily rankings, he reshares this one because this is more likely to get recommended in casual searches. So this one has outlived its purpose on the fucking daily rankings. So he brings back this one as well to cut in front of people in the global rankings. And now he's got 2 fucking public, virtually identical fucking. Let's get the power to weight ratio on these. Let's see what the fucking difference is here. Let's see what the difference is here. So 488. 439. .1442. That's .1442. All right, he improved it. He improved the fucking tune. Right? So he actually, so this is something that he doesn't usually do. It's usually just a straight up reshare. I've showed that a lot. So good job. You went back and you improved your tune a little bit, but you didn't do it enough, because look at my tune on the left. The power ratio is 1495 on this. 1495. And mine is 1520. So you're close. You're close. You're better. This one was this was shit. But you brought it back anyway because it's highly ranked. So you're just shoving shit in people's faces now. You admitted it's shit by even sharing this build. Didn't you even look at mine and try to figure out what the fuck I did? Or are you just going like, I'm gonna make an inferior tune and just roll with it? I'm gonna give people this alternative, right? What you're doing is, see, that's my tune on the left, 3663 weight. You're giving people this alternative like oh, it's light. It's a lighter car. But like you don't want a lighter car for this type of dirt races that's in these championships. These aren't asphalt heavy races. They're fucking muddy races. So you're, instead of building a good tune, you're building an alternative tune for people. You're occupying this fucking middle ground. Like, you're not stripping it down and giving people a powerful car. You're not giving people like an advanced like fucking handling car in any way. You're just occupying this shit middle ground. Because you don't want to do my build. There's like all these people you're trying not to copy. You think you're like reinventing the fucking wheel here. You're not. Having these 2 tunes public, first of all, is just a fucking garbage move. This is the definition of engagement farming. Like, the whole idea of farming is you have one plot for consumption and you sell the rest. Now you got 2 plots. So consumption is no longer the issue. Now you're just either hoarding or you're fucking capitalizing, right? To make an extended farming analogy, this is the definition of farming: is planting 2 plots for the same crop. You understand? You got two identical gardens or slightly different gardens now. Instead of the one that you needed, the one that fed you and everybody else. Man, this tune has fucking thousands of downloads and uses and hundreds of likes. I guarantee it. Based on how close it is to mine in the rankings. Your fucking one plot already fed you and everybody else. This is just fucking greed. This is agriculture. This is engagement agriculture. That's what you're fucking doing. It's beyond farming. This is like when you fly over the fucking Midwest and everything is a square. That's what this is. That's what this is. So this is embarrassing. And this tune's going to go away. This tune will be gone. Watch. I don't know why it's not gone already. You got to get rid of the evidence, dog. If I reshared this, I would have unshared this immediately. This is just engagement fucking farming. This is not. This is garbage. Because now, okay, my previous criticisms have been like, you got tunes with different names that are the same. Now you got tunes with the same name that are slightly different. This is just all useless nonsense. And like I said 100 fucking times and had to reiterate on the forums, you don't need any of these tunes. You don't need either of these tunes because I already have one that's not only better but higher ranked than both of them with fucking proof, with leaderboard proof and fucking YouTube proof. 3,500 likes. Do you know how fucking rare that is? Do you know how unlikely that is? That's insane. I would expect a tune with 7,100 downloads, number one, to have half that in uses and a tenth of that in likes. So it's actually possible that his tune got more downloads than mine, but then people didn't use it or like it because they all add up to the same in terms of the ranking and the engagement. But look at these numbers, right? And then think about the fact that he was like less than a half dozen spots behind me in the rankings. That means thousands of people engaged his bullshit, unnecessary tune. Right? So I excuse that the first time, though, because people just don't know any better. This guy is capitalizing on people who literally don't know any better. That's who he is the tuner for. He's the tuner for people, and we're going to go to the mini in a second. He's the tuner for people who just want to beat the Drivatars. And even then, it's like fucking questionable. But like, this is not tunes for people who want to win races. This is people who want to finish well enough to win team races, right? Giving you a lower speed, better handling, better driving experience that will give you a little bit of a challenge against the Drivatars. You'll still win, but like any human player in your race with a decent tune is going to fucking smoke you. And this is a hard lesson I learned like years ago. That you think you got a good tune, even you think you got a good Rivals tune, you set a good time, you go out in an online race and get fucking murdered by somebody just with a better power weight ratio. That's where tuning comes in, right? You're just doing this guy, he's just doing builds. Like the tuning is useless. Like, so his build is doing all of the work. But what you want to do is strip your build back and actually tune the car. And that's where we'll get into with the Mini now. You know what? Let me just show you what the fucking problem is with his tune right now. He went with this is how I got a better power weight ratio than him. He went with fucking weight reduction. He's down in the 3,300s. He went with weight reduction instead of the fucking cent charger. Or if he did, nope, he didn't use the cent charger. So what did he do? He usually uses this. Yeah, that looks about right. 438. We're getting up there. Nah, I can't even fucking figure it out. I don't know what he did, but he definitely used weight reduction. It took me forever to figure out the mini, and it's psychotic. This is really funny. This is why I decided to do the video. I mean, when I saw the Bel Air, I was pissed. I was gonna do like a short video about engagement agriculture, and but the mini is just like. Then I saw the mini, and it just fucking. So I was on here looking for trying to rebuild his tune. So, and I did. So here's his tune. Right. He went with a vintage build, which is actually would have been my second choice build next to a stock build for this particular championship. If I had to increase the tires, if vintage are available, white walls, that is, that's the way to go. You go with white walls. They're like a step below street tires, which is great because street tires are usually your only upgrade, your cheapest upgrade option. White walls give you a little bit better PI value on a tire upgrade if they're available, but they're only available on cars like pre 70 something, maybe even only cars in the 60s. I don't know what the most recent, the most latest model car is. But anyway, I would have went with this build. I started off with this build because of Chihuahua being in the second race. I was like, let me get slightly better tires on there. Um, but then I realized with Lookout being the first race, it's just better if people get out ahead on Lookout because you're more likely to have a drivatar on Lookout. There's less shitty braking lines. There's much wider driving lines. They're more likely to just run away with it if you're not a good player, you know. So on Lookout, you want to get out ahead and that's it. And somebody in the forums actually said that, like, got out ahead and never looked back. And I was like, right, that's the whole point. Um, like this is the trial. Like if you fuck up the first race, the whole thing is in jeopardy. So you got people quitting then and fucking people ramming, giving up. So anyway, this is whatever. This build is whatever. I saw it. I'm like, whatever. Um, but I wanted to recreate it because I just it didn't make sense to me. It didn't look right to me. Right here was mine. I went with street suspension, stock tires, um, much faster, much more powerful, lighter, right, and lighter and more powerful. Um, I think I had the number one tune for this. Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good engagement. I had the number one tune for the week, better than, but I think he had the second. I think his was number two because he's got the fucking tactics down. Like this guy fucking completely stole my fucking everything I know, every little tactic I fucking discovered and ever used, ever fucking tested in terms of sharing and engagement and recommendations and shit. He knows all that and he's turned it into just an active, ongoing fucking exploit. So he had the second most popular tune on Thursday. So again, you look at this and his was like, not far off. Actually, it was pretty far off because look, if you do a search, let's do a search for D500. There's mine, right? That's actually pretty good. Not too bad for all time. I remember that stock trial, Sanu. All right, the number 10. So where's Shadows being at? Yeah, that's pretty fucking close, man. And the thing is, it's not good tuning. It's not good tuning, and the build is doing all the work. But like in this case, it's particularly not good tuning, and it's hard for me to overstate that. But in order for me to, I tried to deconstruct this build and redo it, and I did. I figured I got it. I'm 100% sure that this is the right build, but I could only get it to come in at 499. So he somehow wasted an extra PI. somewhere that I just can't figure out. Because look, watch on the right. Watch the stats that say new, right? This is my tune, the Spamulator, $4.99. And this is his tune, 500. Now, there's like a tiny, tiny fluctuation in the geometry of the stats, of the PI stats. I'm watching it. When I flip back and forth. So when I go to his, it retracts from the handling a little bit. Shifts a little bit to off-road, a little away from handling. So that's probably like one engine. No, I didn't get any engine components wrong. There's no way I did. All right. But anyway, look, I got the same fucking top speed, better 0 to 60, 96 power, same torque, same weight, same lateral G's, same PI stats. I'm standing up at my TV pointing at things. I need like a better fucking streaming setup. I'm going to do all that for Forza 6. It's not important now. But because this is niche shit. Like, this is for people who know what I'm talking about, which is like a couple dozen at most. So thank you for joining me. So I had to fucking lose a whole PI to match this build, which means, and the slight fluctuation in the geometry that I'm looking at, if I get right up on top of it, I can see that. What this means is I got the build slightly wrong, but that's obvious because I accidentally saved the whole PI. And let me tell you, there's more PI savings in there because I had to make some stupid fucking decisions to get these numbers. I had to make some just fucking dumb, bizarre decisions. And this is like a popular tune. It's mind blowing. So what I'm going to do, since we're calling this the same tune, right? Except mine has this slight edge. I looked at let's load this up and take a look. I want to show you a couple things that I'm going to dislike this tune later, by the way, just to erase my download from the fucking record. Oh, dislike, it cancels out your download, basically. Okay, so we go to Forza Vista. This is how you want to analyze a car. So what we're looking at is front aero with bumper, small front wheels, big rear wheels. Those might not be full-size big rear wheels. Let's keep that in mind. We have the rear bumper, we have rear aero, we have the body kit. We do not have the aero option with the little roof flap. That is not being utilized. All right. So now let's load up the 499er, the Spamulation. We're going to load this up. I don't even know what fucking tune am I? This is weird. This didn't load correctly. What am I fucking looking at here? All right, there we go. All right, so when you compare now that we have his tune loaded, we can actively compare it to my recreation. It says my top speed is slightly higher. My 0 to 60 is higher. Those two things can be cheated though. It says my weight is a little bit more, even though they're both 1311, but my lateral G's are slightly more as well. So either way, for me to come so close with some of the shit decisions I had to make and still come in at 499 is crazy. So let's load my tune, and then I'm going to show you how you can even make it more efficient. There was just some really weird shit going on in this build. I had to make some weird decisions to get here. So the first thing I'm looking at is definitely he went with like slightly less. It was almost like that. 1330, 245. It doesn't make sense though. Why would you even do that? So anyway, we're at 499. Number one, I had to throw a fucking 8 gear on here. And I'm pretty sure that he did this, or he might have even went, no, he probably went 8 or 9, because it shows an increase in the handling stat from 7. And that's what he was worried about. He believes that handling stat. But that's just a build stat. That's not a tune stat. So when you're not a good tuner, you do need to rely on that number a little bit more, because you're going with the stock capability of the fucking upgrades. You're not a good tuner. You're relying on the stock capability of the upgrades. So he went with one of these better handling that brought the PI down a little bit. He might have even went with this one, for all I know, because there was an increase in handling stat from the 9-speed, and it also gave you a slight PI drop, which he might have used to decrease the size of the rear wheel. I just can't for the life of me figure some of this shit out. Oh yeah, 9-speed. 12. That's pretty close. That's with the fucking lower, because I saw more white wall on his rear wheel size. 1312. That might have been what he did. But anyway, let's abandon this for a second, because like I said, I'm not trying to exactly recreate his tune, because his tune doesn't make any fucking sense. So, and we're starting with this idea that somehow you're going to get better handling out of a heavier transmission with more gears. It's just absurd, especially on a circuit. If you're really like maximizing the PI value of your power weight ratio, then like, sure, you could go to a 10 and just gear it correctly, I guess, if you know how. But we're going right now under the assumption that this is a close enough recreation of his build. Right? We have the same power, same torque, same weight, same G's. We have all the same basic components are exactly the same. The only difference here might be a couple minor adjustments. Like obviously he went with a slightly smaller rear wheel size, and there might be something going on with like the drive line and the flywheel, you know. But either way, we're operating under the assumption that I have recreated this build at 1 less PI. And now we're going to take it even further, because, like I said, we're starting with the transmission here. The 8 and 9 gear transmission are not better than the 7 in this case. They're just not. The 8 is certainly not better at the same PI at more weight. And that's what I'm looking at here. The only way I could get to this 1311 was fucking with the transmission. So like 1315, and then maybe So we go to the 7, though. We go to the 7. That reduces our weight. We're still at 499. This just makes the tune better. So we've just made the tune better without increasing the PI at all. We've decreased the weight. We've now it also, like, I'm telling you, don't, these numbers, these PI fucking average numbers, these are build numbers. Don't pay attention to these. This is if you don't do any tuning at all. So when you go to like a 10 speed, 9 speed, and it says your launch is 8.5 and it's better than the 7, that's literally if you don't touch the final drive at all. Like, all you have to do to make the 7 speed better than one of these is adjust the final drive. In the configuration they give you, they're fitting more gears into the same exact gap range, right? That's the way they're presenting their transmissions to you. So of course this is going to have better launch, but this is the better fucking idea. This is the better deal. It's just less gears and it's lighter. And usually it comes with a PI penalty that's, you know, commensurate. But in this case, we're still not even at 500. So yeah, we're going with the 7. Race diff, he definitely chose race diff. Drive line, it was my assumption that he used the drive line. So we'll just leave that where it is for now, but we might get rid of that in the course of fixing this shit. He did not use a brake upgrade, which I would have spent the final PI on here. It seems insignificant, but like, I did a lot of testing, and there's when I'm using, I understand why he didn't use it. It actually makes his braking okay because he's got slightly better tires. It was necessary for me to do this. I know it seems like a waste of PI, but it's not at the speed that you're going. You have to look at the braking simulation, not the PI number. This is another reason why I'm saying the PI numbers suck. So yes, like 60 to 0 is like 5 feet better. That's significant. I know it doesn't seem like it, but like, you know, it's helpful on a race like this where there's a bunch of tight braking zones. This isn't like a sprint. I'd lose this PI in a second if it was a sprint. So we're fixing his build. First thing I saw is I'm going to get rid of the rear bumper. I guarantee it doesn't cost much. 1302. So, okay, now we're down to 1302 at 500 with a better transmission. The brakes are free. We've shed that rear bumper. Let's get rid of the front one just for matching purposes. Now we got a mean little machine here. I personally don't like the mismatched wheels. I think it's fucking harder to tune. Oh, we could also do this too. You could lose weight here. Now we're under 1,300 pounds. See, he doesn't do things like this because it says the handling goes down. But that's just bullshit. It's like literally bullshit. If you don't tune the car, that might be true. But the whole point of this is we're tuning the car. Like, look at all the weight we've saved. So now we're 12 pounds lower than his build. With the same power, slightly better front ratio. So better weight balance, lighter, better braking, and better transmission so far. What else can we do? Let's play with the wheel sizes here. I knew that was, so I would actually do that. I personally would do this because you've got a PI, and I knew this was the case. You get a even PI swap with the big wheels because you're adding a whole ton of weight. That's a lot of weight to take on this. That's like over what? 1299. There's like fucking 17 pounds. That's a lot. Okay. But it does give you better handling. Bigger front wheels do give you better handling. And it makes the diff a lot easier to tune. It allows you, for me, in my opinion, it allows you to, in D500 road, use a 100-100 diff. Having the same size wheels is very important for that. So I would do it in this case, even though the tires are different width, which I hate. We'll get to in a second. That's another way I would fix this car, but that would require dropping down to stock tires. So when I drop down to stock tires, I always make the tires square, meaning the front and rear are the same width. Sometimes I find a nice middle ground where I don't have to waste too much on the front and I still get a slight deduction on the back. But when all your wheels are exactly the same, it's easier to drive the car. It's easier to tune the car. So I would actually make this sacrifice. All that weight we just saved, I would bring it back and then some, just for the ease of driving it. Because now we're up to a 5 on the handling stat. For those of you who give a shit about that, it is a fact though. It's not. This is a lot of people don't like this, like a waste of PI, or a lot of times this would be an actual PI increase, in which case we couldn't even get away with it. The only reason I'm even considering this weight increase, because it's functional weight increase. So now let's use this as a new starting point. Is there any way to save PI here? No, there's not. And I want to show you what he did with the engine as well. Okay, so can we do anything with that one PI that's worth 11 pounds? Let's take a look. Is there any way? Is there? Sometimes you can't get a wheel that comes in right at the PI you want. So no, not in this case. Fucking race springs, it's crazy. No. So I guess, is there any engine upgrades worth one PI? I don't think so. No, these engine upgrades are all obscene, as you'll see in a second. All right, so here's your two options for this car. Either I've actually improved the handling at 13, 16 pounds, which is, so this is either a much better build at slightly heavier than his, or a slightly less much better build at a lot less weight than his. Now, I could tune this car with these different size wheels. I don't think he can, and I wouldn't even bother. I would just go with this weight. If I was going to do this shitty build that he did, this is how you actually fix it. I wouldn't even do this build, obviously, is part of the point. This is how you would fix it. These are your two choices, this or this. I don't know where the fuck you got this build from, because here's the other thing. Your engine upgrades are the last ones that you usually want to use, especially in a lower class. Now, there's a few exceptions. I've had some success with a couple cars like the Scout, where using the race exhaust is the way to go. But in this case, no. Absolutely not. So what you went for was the 2 engine upgrades that shed the most amount of weight. Like your methodology is all fucked up because sometimes you're adding weight when it shows a handling increase, but sometimes you're losing weight when it shows a handling decrease. It doesn't make sense. But you clearly, based on the engine components and the fact that they matched the when I did this build, they matched up perfectly the power and torque. If they were different components, they wouldn't show the same exact power and torque. It would show a difference, an up or down difference. So you definitely use these engine upgrades. You use the race intake and you use the fucking race exhaust, which usually are both also factor in weight reduction in their massive PI waste. So you tried to make this car lighter, basically, but you failed in a couple really crucial ways, and then you made up for it by using inefficient engine upgrades. So what are we at? 96,102, and his weight was 1311. What are the most efficient upgrades here? We got 91 at 478. I don't know, man. I don't know how you came up with this. Yeah, see so you had the 96 HP and the 102. It's the right upgrades, or else it would show those would show green or red. Even if it was the same horsepower and torque, the game measures these things much more minutely. It just shows this is a roundup. This is why when it'll say 104.9, it shows an increase in speed because it's might be 104.907. I don't know. Anyway, race suspension is not the way to go. Get rid of that. Street is perfectly acceptable. Look at the increase in PI from the just for the tires. Like you would think like, oh, like my tune must be shit, but no, not. I set a better time, and it got plenty of engagement and feedback of being easy to drive. So why waste 100 fucking PI on tires? A fucking 110? That's wild. Because let me show you something. With that 100 PI, let's just square these off for the sake of argument. 107 PI. Just doing this is a massive increase, making your full front with tires. But just doing this is awesome for the car. It increases your G's like significantly. It makes it easier to tune. Again, like I said, you could use the 100 diff. Then there's ways you're giving yourself all this wiggle room now too. So when it shows that massive grip decrease from it's like it's a plus 38, right? It's like a third different. Let's say the grip is like a third different, but that's just on the tire material. So if you're literally doubling the size of the tire, and I haven't done the math on this particular car, but that's a significant increase. if you're doubling the size of the front and rear tires, you're making up for all that grip. Like you're giving a lower grip, more surface area though. It's the same car that needs to be in traction with the road. So you're just spreading the grip out. Like I know it doesn't make sense to some people, but this is a legitimate thing to do. Like you figure out the surface area of your tire is part of how your car is gripping the road. It's not like it doesn't all boil down to the material grip. You know what I mean? Like the stock material grip. This is what they're showing you here. They're not accounting for tire size here. So which is why you can very often get a better tire situation out of going full front width, full rear width before you actually go to an upgrade. And let me give you a really good example. We're just going to do this for the sake of argument, but slick tires. All right, so this is what most people would do, right? If you were going to upgrade to slicks, you would go full rear width because it gives you the PI drop. But the front is such a big increase that you wouldn't do a front increase. So you got your slick tires at 569 PI, right? With this weird mismatched arrangement. Now you got your G's at 116, 122. Good way to increase those G's is the front tires. So there's your real grip, right? So your real grip is being translated into better lateral. Your base grip is your base grip, but this is your real grip. See that increase in G's is significant. And the 0 to 60 is the really significant. The 60 mile an hour G's is the really significant one in D500. It doesn't really matter how this car drives at 100 miles an hour. It's important to some extent, but it's not going to be doing it for very long on a circuit. So that's a massive increase in the 60 mile an hour G's. But here's the point I'm trying to make. You got these slick race tires, the semi-slick race tires for less PI give you the same G's. Look at that. So you have more grip in the surface, in the base material of the tire. But if you drop that, you drop down to slicks, which semi-slicks, which number one give you a better off-road rating. And you might not think that's important, but it's important for all the shortcuts in this game. So you have a minus 0.04 on the semi-slick grip, which is really not that important. It's not a big number, but you get 7 PI back, which is a lot, especially this low in the PI scale. So if we drop to semi-slicks and we have the same lateral G's for less PI plus better shortcut rating, then you can increase your front width and actually increase your G's over the slicks. See, 1622. We can increase that front width. Now we're at 1824. And we're still coming 1 PI short of where the slicks were. And this car will drive better because the wheels are closer to square. This is a specific fucking lesson that I have taught to Shadows Me. Specifically, when I see him using slick tires for fucking street races and shit, I'm like, it's just insane. It's just the dumbest waste of PI. If you were doing like oval, you were grinding oval circuit or some shit, S2, yeah, I use slicks. I use slicks in S2 when there's like no viable alternative for like a road race, but I use semis if possible. I'd rather use semis and weight reduction. I'd rather use semis and full front width. I'd rather find some medium here, like '64, 205s, 205, 25, 15. 205, 25, 15. Two 45, 2015. That's a big leap. A big leap. I might do this. Like actually, I think I did this actually with the stock tires in my build. I squared them off slightly lower. So I took some PI back. I ate some PI on making the rear less wide and making the front more wide. But this is crazy. The full front here is crazy because it's wider. No, these are crazy because they don't match up to anything on the rear. Your rear options don't include these two. Your rear options jump from this to this. This would be a very strange waste of PI here. Wouldn't make any sense at all. You don't need this car to have more front grip than rear grip. Well, I guess you would if you were running it FWD, which it is originally built as. So I guess the wide front tires serve a purpose with front wheel drive, and then you would skinny out the back tires. But that's obviously not what we're doing here. And I don't know how the body kit affects all this either. Obviously, you get different tire widths with the body kit. But what I would do here, whether we're downgrading from, so this is true across the board. I very often will take the lower tire quality and then match the widths up with some eating some PI on the front increase and even the rear increase if possible, because you're still going to come in lower than the tire upgrade, and you've potentially given yourself better lateral G's, just as much surface grip for the same exact weight of the weight and weight balance of the car. It's funny, like imagine, I mean, I'm here criticizing this guy for doing bad builds and bad tunes. It would be fucking funny. It would be awesome if you actually watch these videos and learn something, but that's not going to fucking happen because I already tried to explain all this shit anyway. So let me show you. Let me show you my build. Let's dissect my build a little bit. Let's go over the face stats first. Make some point out some things. So that's mine on the left. It's his on the right. My weight is significantly better. My power is significantly better. Like my power weight ratio was fucking off the charts compared to his. That's why my 0 to 60 is 1.6 seconds better, and that's huge. Because 60 is like that's like more than halfway there on these races. Like reaching 60, you barely do it on some of these little stretches. So getting to 60 is really important. And also having a higher top speed, getting to 60 quick and having a higher top speed are really important for Lookout, right? But I could see people being afraid to do the tire upgrade. But the keeping the stock tires allowed me to make this thing super powerful and super light, which makes it a lot easier to drive. So you have to take that into consideration. Stock tires give you the ability to make a much lighter car. You see how I have the lightest rims available. I went with the lightest rims and the smallest rims. So this gives me the lightest weight on my my drive axles, or both axles, but the drive axle in particular. And then the tire width and rim size is matched front to back. So I have the lightest possible car with the highest possible power. The front tires, back tires, wheel size, all matched. Smallest wheel size for easiest, quickest turning. in terms of weight. Yep, is exactly what I thought I did. I said it. I went on the 205 55 10s because now you're throwing the car wheels out of balance, which I don't love because again, this was my final drop, my differential. So having square tires and the same size rims, no matter what the size of the tire and the rims are, as long as they're the same front and back, is your best bet for this differential setup working. And all you have to do is tilt the front and rear balance to whatever track you're on. What is the increase here on 110? 110 pi. What I did with that 110 pi was I added 37 horsepower, which was about a 40% increase in horsepower, and I reduced the weight by 61 pounds, which is almost 4.5%. See, I used the 7-speed. I even snuck the driveline in there. What was the driveline cost? 1 pi. He might not have used the driveline because a lot of times the driveline shows the handling go down. That's one of those silly Forza things. There was a lot more stupid bugs like that in Forza 4. Brake upgrade. See, brake upgrade was free in my build. That was another thing that I figured out in his build. A bunch of shit like this, random bumpers and shit. Like he just didn't do it. He just didn't do it. Either he saw the handling go down. Like he could have had a lighter car. That was sort of the point of my 499 build. He saw the handling go down and was like, skipped it, even though it's making the fucking car lighter. Like, what more do you want? You're constrained to such limited power here. Every pound you can save is important, unless it serves a very specific purpose, like making the wheels the same size. There's all kinds of free shit here. This was free fucking weight reduction. Let's take away all these weight reductions and see what happens. We're at 1250. Add 3 pounds here. Add 7 pounds here. So what are we at now? 1260. Yeah. You got to actually play around with these things. So there's a couple other things in the tune that I don't want to show you, but I did want to show you because there's a couple there's 1 or 2 things in the build that I don't want to go into either, because you got to protect some things. That's what sets me apart. This guy in here spinning his fucking wheels trying to come up with something. I don't want to explain too much because I spent a lot of time already trying to fucking teach this guy stuff. Fucking waste of time. But this was absolutely. So I mean, go take this car out. Fucking thousands of people drove this car, had no problem. You don't need the fucking tire upgrade for 100 pi. It's crazy. Not for the trial, not for lookout circuit. This isn't rivals. Like good rivals players, like they're gonna throw slicks. I mean, I saw dudes testing all week. Like good players testing all week. Like there's a million builds you can do. You can put almost any kind of tire on this shit in D500 and get a good result. In rivals, if you know your lines, if you want to fuck with front wheel drive, Like you could throw slicks on this thing and fucking set great times as long as you're. But I wouldn't do that for your average player uh, on lookout in the trial. So what I want to actually want to test the fucking first. No, I don't want to load up the trial twice. That would be horrible. Oh, so this is what I wanted to show you. This is the fucking. This is the other spam fucking nonsense. When I went to look for his tune, I wanted to like screenshot it and figure it out. I loaded it up and I was like, what the fuck am I was like, what the fuck am I looking at? I'm like, rally tire. I'm like, this is fucking not what I remember. I was like, how the fuck did this happen? How did I get it so wrong? Like I was literally like thinking about it yesterday and I was like, oh, okay. I'm like, he had the white wall build because he said something on the forums. That was the other thing. He said something on the forums where he was like, oh, I tested everything and stock tires were the only option that beat the unbeatable Drivatars. So he went with white walls anyway, which like doesn't really make sense to me. I mean, not that the stock tires are the only tires capable of beating unbeatable Drivatars. They're the only ones easily capable of it though. So he still went with the white walls though. Instead because you have to lean on the tire quality in the next race because you don't know how to tune. So so I knew it was a white wall build. He said it right there in the post. He's like, I went with white walls. So I'm like, I pulled this up. I'm like, what the fuck am I even looking at? And I'm like, why is his shit even still in the rankings? Like, what the fuck is this? Like, why is this shit still in the daily rankings? This is from 2 days ago. I was like, hold on, do a search here. And that's when I fucking saw it. He shared another tune. He now has 2 trial tunes. He shared this tune. I woke up at 2 a.m. on the 5th. So he was up. He probably shared it right at 8 p.m. Eastern, right when the date changes. Um, well, it was sometime before 2 a.m. because I saw this a couple hours ago. I was like, what the fuck? Yeah. So this is one of the big spam tactics. You got your Thursday tune, which lasts through to Friday because of the way the algorithm carries over with the recommendations. Then all those tunes go away out of the daily rankings, right? By the 5th. So then for the 5th, he shares a new one to capitalize on the weekend players. I mean, this one is insanely bad. We're down to 82 horsepower. It doesn't even reach 100 miles an hour. Doesn't even reach 100 miles an hour. How do you share a tune where you can't even do the full sim? Like you don't even get the full simulation numbers. Um, so aside from being a useless and bad build, just on the face of it, uh, this is just again engagement farming. This is agriculture. This is plotting to. No, whereas the other car, the fucking Hoonigan, was plotting like two more or less identical vegetables. This is slightly different. This is planning two different things in the same area. Like I don't even know how to describe this. This is such garbage. This is literally, and these will not both be public in a couple days. At least one of them will be gone, and it will just have added up into this fucking download total, and then the number of tunes will be lower, and it'll just look like it'll look like the tunes showing are responsible for this number, but it's not. It's all these little ghost tunes that he sneaks in to take advantage of the algorithm every other fucking day during the season. So this is for the Thursday players and this is for the weekend players. I don't know if he thinks he's fooling himself by making it two different builds. Like there's some value in this. But this is like nonsense. This is garbage. Nobody needed either one of these tunes. We definitely didn't need both of them. We don't need you inserting yourself into the fucking daily rankings more than once per season just to rack up cheap ass downloads, fake ass downloads to make you look like a better player than you are. You've been playing this game for how long? You still can't even figure out a fucking good build. I know for sure you don't know how to actually tune the shit. I know for absolute certain that you're using Forza Tune, but you don't know what those numbers even mean. You don't know what to do with them. Those numbers are fine if you know what the fuck they mean. I've incorporated a lot of that math into mine because when it gets into suspension math, I learned a certain way, so it's hard to shake it, which is why I try to avoid using these adjustable suspensions if I can. Which is why I went with street suspension on this one, which is, generally completely fine for low speed racing. Putting race suspension and vintage tires on a car that goes 100 miles an hour, the only reason to do that is if you're chasing some really good rivals time, but you're not. You're not even fucking close. I have my rivals lap for this car is on. I watched it yesterday and it's like not great. I was behind like the first half of my previous Ghost, and I barely. So like I barely beat Seinu's time by 0.67. Let's go look at Lookout for a second. Where the fuck is Lookout? Here it is. I barely beat this time. Now he's using a build, I believe, from what I looked at when I searched. He's using a street tire build, which is actually was really good when I tested it. Um, so you have to be like this caliber of player to make a tire upgrade work. Another one is this guy. I believe he was running front wheel drive. I believe Seinu was running all wheel drive. I could be wrong, but based on the tunes that I saw, and then I tried Seinu's street tire tune. I thought Streets was overkill, but he's a better driver than me, so it obviously worked to some extent. And I'm sure he could come back and beat me again. But the stock tires, first I went with white walls, and that was what I was gonna go with. But then I went with the stock tires and realized that like at that speed you didn't need the tire upgrade. So unless you're this caliber of player, you don't need a tire upgrade. I think Shadow's Bane's time is down here on the 107 somewhere. So, what other cars we had this week? Oh, this Unicorn, yeah. This fucking stupid, horrible car. I saw his tune. It was the obvious slicks, usual bullshit. I'm sure it was impossible to drive. So you're like sharing these inferior tunes, like for the Bel Air. It's like not a power build. It's not a full weight reduction build. It's just this middle ground shit that's like easy to drive but not very fast. So one of the things when you said like the mini that the stock tires were the only thing that you could beat the unbeatable Drivatars with when you tested, but you went with white walls anyway. I guess my question is why? And I know the answer because you said it right there in the post. You said, I don't think these Drivatars are unbeatable that are in the trial. So basically, your logic is you can make the tune worse because the Drivatars aren't as good. Why? Like, why even bother? If you beat the unbeatable Drivatars with the stock tire tune, just fucking go with the stock tire tune. Share the stock tire tune. Because here's the thing. People don't want to just beat the Drivatars and finish in fucking fifth or sixth place. People want to win these races. So in my mind, testing to beat unbeatable Drivatars is not even sufficient. But you're taking it in the other direction. You're saying it's more than sufficient because all you really need to do is beat, let's say, highly skilled Drivatars, right? But that's not the only people in the race. There's other human players in the race. And I learned a long time ago, you show up with a fucking tune that you think is good, that's going to beat unbeatable Drivatars and set an okay rivals time, you're going to get fucking smoked by another human player. And if everything doesn't go fucking perfectly for you, you're going to finish like fucking middle or back of the pack. That's what you're going to get out of Shadow's Bane tune. Easy to drive, slow as shit, good enough for winning a team race. That should be the disclaimer. Don't use these tunes if you want to win personally. If you want to beat the other human players, don't use a Shadows Bane tune. If you want to finish the race and get the team win, sure. But you might as well just go stock or do your own upgrades. You don't need some fucking shit tune. Just go in here and pick the upgrades. 9 times out of 10 is going to be fine. I know very good players who just upgrade cars and go out and test them and set great times. Like, this is not all willy-nilly, these fucking settings that they give you. Like, these all mean something. And you got to be wary. Forza Tune has its uses, but when it tells you to radically redesign a fucking car, you got to be careful. When you start changing the numbers and they're like, what the fuck even, or like, why am I doubling the tightness of the suspension? You know what I mean? Like, you got to start to wonder. You don't take it as gospel. Learn how this math works with Forza Tune. That's my advice. It's a literal tool. It's a calculator. It's not a fucking genie in a bottle. Right? Like if you got math homework, you take out the calculator. What do you type? You try to type in, what do you just type in like a bunch of numbers and hope it gives you the answer? You gotta know how to use it. You gotta know what the fucking buttons do. You gotta understand the math in general. So I don't know, man. But this shit kills me. This shit just absolutely kills me. This is so gross. This is like, remember that I did a stream where I pulled up like fucking 20 examples of this. Not this. This is like super, super bad. This is like this is not a new tactic. This shit has existed forever. You see a lot of shitty tuners doing this. Let's see who's on the list. Do I recognize anybody up here? Now the Weekend Crown is usually a little. But like he's not gonna fucking. I gotta unfollow this guy. I can't have him showing up in the beginning of the list like that. Oh God. Where was the other one? The Hoonigan. All this resharing. It's just fucking engagement farming. It's all it is. This is all just so sneaky. Like on having this one unshared, so it wouldn't pop up in front of this one. And then when this one didn't stop being in the rankings and didn't catch it on, resharing this one. Now you got both of them. Oh, they're different tunes. This one's better. But like either roll with this one or roll with this one. Same thing with your fucking mini. You know what? We should make sure he's not sharing another Hoonigan as well. Nah, just this one. Rally suspension and slick tires. Why? Like I don't know. Like why? Why go with rally suspension on this? Just use the stock suspension. It's just like for the sake of changing it or something. I'm sure this fucking sucks. It's too fast. Man, you suck, Shadows, man. Like, not only do you suck, but like you're just a fucking spam monster. With your fake ass million downloads. Out here fucking embarrassing yourself for an extra couple hundred downloads, sharing another trial tune. You gotta share a fucking trial tune on fucking Wednesday night and again on Friday night. This is garbage.